Okay, this might go down in history as the most controversial video ever made on a Power Stroke 6.0 for all my community. Um, I wanted to start here. So this is where the head goes, right? And we get told that we have to remove the cap to do any major work. I'm stating that you can rebuild, replace heads, whatever major, the whole engine you can replace inside the cab without taking the cab off. That's my opening statement. I'm gonna show you. I'm replacing the old pan at the bottom, so I'm gonna take you to the bottom in a second. Look at all this junk right here. So for you to access to that right here, you have perfect access right here. You can remove all this and you have access to the heads. This one right here, you have all the junk. So if you can get the engine to roll this way, you have access to all the heads. So you can start the rebuild for on the top, right? Now let's go at the bottom. Like I said, I'm in the middle of replacing the oil pan. There's the upper oil pan that I removed, 9 bolts. And so I started doing, here's a visual of what you can see once you remove it. So I lifted the engine right there. I didn't have to remove any of the linkages. And let's do a visual inspection. I can see the camshaft, the lobes, the roller lifters. It has roller lifters, by the way, so the lobe makes contact with the little ball bearing crankshaft. I can see it. So if you ever need to do a really good visual inspection of the inside of the engine, easiest thing to do is take your oil pan off. There's my cylinders. I can see the rods, all kinds of things. You know, everything was in good shape. Anyways, this is what I'm getting at. So I'm turning now the phone. Now that's the full front of the engine. See my motor mounts right there? 1, 2. So what you do is you lift it like I did, because you'll have to lift it to remove the oil pan, right? And then you would remove this engine mount. Then you lower it again, so now your motor's gonna shift this way. And now you have access to the passenger side, the heads, right? From the bottom, look man, I have here, I can remove anything, major component. Hell, even the cylinders, whatever I want, the crankshaft, I can slide it out that way. So I don't know anyone, please tell me, like a gentleman argument, why you couldn't rebuild the engine here or even replace it, right? You drop in the engine without the heads, just the block, then you put the heads on, you know, using that method I told you, removing that mount, and then you start putting everything else on. So seriously, reply to me, I'll reply to you, you know, but let's be civil. We're all 6.0 owners are bound by the same feelings. I would say us and our wives, we're all bound by the same feeling, right? 6.0, I mean, it's just, I don't see why you couldn't rebuild it, man. Just tell me, without removing the cab. I thought I would make this video because it was interesting, and at least you can get a visual of what kind of things you see. Or you can pause the video if you want to see what kind of things you want to look at. But there's the bottom of my cylinder. There's the little deal that sprays the bottom of the cylinders. These are the holes that when your IPR bypasses the oil and it dumps it, this is where it dumps it back into the oil pan right there. It's the back of the engine, comes out of those. So I just wanted to share this video with y'all. And here's I should show you that bolt too. This is the transmission bolt from the inside right there. So from the outside you can see I didn't remove the whole nut. You can access it from that hole right there in a straight shot. I didn't use a swivel at all. All I did is pull down on the transmission lines, and that aligned it, and it was a straight shot. So there's that bolt. Take that off before we start pulling the oil pan. That's how I lifted it. That's a horseshoeing stand, the top of it anyways. So hopefully this video helps anybody, and for real, just tell me why you couldn't rebuild to replace an engine 6.0, just as easy as hard as any other engine. And the oil pan gasket replacement, if you own a 6.0, believe me man, you can do it. It'll take you longer to go to the bar, have a beer and come back than it is to replace this.